Welcome back to the Shine Within podcast. Jenn Cohen is an intuitive consultant, author, and former entertainment industry executive with over 27 years of experience working with major studios like DreamWorks, NBC Universal, IMAX, and WarnerMedia. After discovering the power of intuition in her own career, she now helps individuals and organizations unlock their potential by blending intuitive insights with actionable strategies. Through her coaching programs, Jenn empowers clients to gain clarity, trust their inner voice, and make aligned decisions that enhance both professional fulfillment and personal fulfillment and professional success. Jenn, thank you
All of
so much.
it.
All of the above. All of
Oh,
the above. Thank you
that's
so
right.
much for being on my show today.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a joy to be here.
Yes, and Jenna, let's just talk about your journey into intuition. It actually began after the passing of your father. Can you just go ahead and share that experience and how it sparked your deeper exploration into intuitive decision making?
Sure, sure. So it happened when I was age 20, and it was an unexpected passing. I had actually spoken with him the night before. We had made plans to speak the next day, and got the call that he had passed from a heart attack. And what had happened is the night of his funeral, there were a bunch of people in the house, and I couldn't speak. Like, I was just distraught and just kind of in shock. And I went back to my parents' bedroom and I lied on his side of the bed, and it was pitch black. There were no lights on. And I was just kind of calling out to God and just saying, what am I going to do now? What is this? What do I do? And the bedside light, which was off, turned on and off and on and off. And I just kind of stopped crying and I looked and I said, Daddy, is that you? It went on and off and on and off. And at that moment, I understood that there was something more than the physical. And what happened then is that I went back up to school. I was in college. I was just starting my junior year of college, and he would send me signs. And these signs would I had no idea what signs were before this. And he would send me signs of ladybugs and lights going on and off. That's how it started, with the lights going on and off, because he could communicate that way very easily. And then I was going through the grief process. And as a 20-year-old, I stuck really hard on the anger portion of that. And in that anger, I said to him, you're not going to be here for a lot of the milestones. So you're going to take care of my profession from the other side. You're going to take that on. You're going to make sure that I am always able to take care of myself. And I'm not going to worry about that, because that's your job. And I truly believed that, even in my anger stage. And luckily I came out of that. And he took it on. It was very clear to me that he would greatly take that on. And that he would take what I was considering a burden and saying, no, no problem at all. I'll guide you on your way for this. And it relieved a lot of worry and stress on my end, and made room for what I call the intuitive sense and our intuitive self. And through this trust and belief, it guided me in many more ways throughout my life, but really took me on my professional journey that actually I'm at today in a much different way. But that's the story of how I discovered intuition and how I've lived my life since that moment.
Wow, well, thank you so much for sharing. And again, my condolences for your loss. But you still have that relationship with him, which is amazing. I think
Yeah.
that's incredible. Like, you're still able to communicate and have him guide you and just be with you throughout this whole journey here on Earth. And
Yeah.
so, yeah,
I,
yeah, we can come yeah, go ahead.
I would say a couple of years after he passed, people would say, how are you doing? And I would say my relationship with my father is stronger than it ever could have been on this physical plane, ever. Um, and it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. It doesn't mean that I don't miss him. It doesn't mean that, I don't wish that he were here. And I get to have this incredible communication with him and relationship with him and feeling with him.
Yes, it is so funny that you say about butter or not butterflies, ladybugs. That
Yeah.
is my mom's insect, and she sees ladybugs everywhere, and she collects them. And she has even
Yeah.
stuffies of them, and just ornaments and decorations, and even bells. But so I know, and then maybe it's just a knowing. My intuition also telling me that when she does pass, because my parents are not going to live forever, that I feel like I'm going to be seeing a ladybug and that's going to be her saying, "Hey, I'm here." I don't know. I just have that feeling already inside me.
Absolutely. Well, that's kind of the entry point of, it's that knowing when when I saw that sign, it's that's the same knowing of your intuition. And when you can feel that, because other people can see that ladybug and they just see an insect or a bug that flies around, but it's the knowing that makes it a sign for us. And that's the same with our intuition. It's very custom to us. It's bespoke to us. Not everybody feels their intuition in the same way, but when they do, no one can talk you out of that. There's no question with it. And so those signs are, it's a great way to understand, oh, when I'm trying to make a decision and I get that feeling of just knowing and peace, that's also my intuition talking to me.
Yes. And in your opinion, I know you just shared this with us right now, but
Mhm.
what are the first steps someone can go ahead and take to start recognizing and trusting their intuition?
Yeah. First, it's knowing that we all have it. I've gotten a lot of questions that say, "Well, do only women have it? What if I don't have intuition?" We all have intuition. It's commonly called our sixth sense, and not in the I see dead people
Yeah.
movie kind of way. I like to think of it as our first sense. It's when we come into this world, it's really the first sense that we have. Um, and the other senses are easier to really comprehend. I hear something, I see something, I taste something, I feel something, or I touch something. But our intuition, it's what we're born with. And so the awareness that you have it, that's the easiest first step. And some people, again, they're just like, well, intuition happens to me. Nope, intuition is always here. And it's really our responsibility to put us in a place to receive it. It's not our job to hunt it down. It's accepting and knowing, no, we all have this ability. We all have this sense that is hardwired into us. And through acknowledging that and a few simple practices really that we can tap into that much easier and easier and easier and easier.
Yes. Now, how can someone tell the difference between an intuitive nudge and a fear-based thinking?
Yeah, it's a really good question because it's easy to get those two confused because, in our culture, we have been really conditioned in the fear-based thought. That's, not to get, too biological here, but the left side or hemisphere of our brain, that's critical thinking. It's comparing past and future. It's always constantly trying to see, okay, I need to be cautious here. It's fear-based here. It seeks differences. And we need that side of our brain for a lot of things. In fact, you and I wouldn't be able to talk and be here right now because we need that to organize us. And there's really benefits for us. It's also where the ego lives. And then on the right hemisphere of our brain is the creative thinking. This is much more expansive. This is where the present moment is based. It's nonverbal, it's expansive. So your intuition lives on the right hemisphere. So when you're doing things like dancing or singing or listening to music or out in nature or reading or, something that really lights you up, that's just, oh, you're in that hemisphere. And if you think about those things that you like to do, you'll feel an expansion kind of in your chest, like your shoulders go down. You're just kind of in flow. You've got this really peaceful, joyful, um, present awareness around you. And when you're fear based, it's almost like your shoulders are creeping up to your ears. You're constricted. You might, have like kind of a bellyache. And then you can feel your mind almost ping ponging, like questioning yourself. Like, well, if I do this, then this is going to happen. And then what if this happens? And then this person can do this. And it's like you've gone down this rabbit hole of worrying about the future or ruminating on a past situation. And that's how you can tell that you're in the left hemisphere of your brain. You're in this fearful part of your brain that's trying to keep you really safe. And intuition has no reason to keep you protected. It's not here for smallness. It's here for greatness. And so that's that real expansion feeling. So, being able to almost get a little bit of space from what you're thinking about and seeing how your body's reacting, it's going to be able to tell you pretty quickly if you're in the fearful or in the intuitive state.
It's interesting because last year I had got invited to do a TEDx. Immediately, I felt sick to my stomach and I wanted to throw up, and I felt fear. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do good. I've never been on stage before. Why are they picking me? Like total imposter syndrome, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
why me? And but then I'm like, wait a minute, I had to reframe my thinking, and then it just felt right, aligned.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why is because unfortunately that April, like literally, okay, so I had a miscarriage in April last year, and then a week later I had gotten that letter. And
Wow.
I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting goosebumps, and that's another sign of your
Yes,
intuition.
absolutely. Absolutely.
It's like truth bumps. They're like, okay, I
Yep.
hear you, soul. I hear you.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, no, I need to do this. So I felt like that fear inside me, but I knew I had to overcome that fear and just go for it and just do it. And so I did. It was probably one of the most nerve-wracking things I've ever did in my life, but I was so happy that I did it and I met such incredible people there and I had fun. But I'm gonna tell you, yeah, it was probably the hardest things I've done in my life before. But
Amazing,
it was
amazing.
fun. Yes.
Yeah. And had you kind of called that in prior? Had you thought about doing a TEDx? Had you made, a path to forward to get that opportunity?
What a great question you're asking because I thought in my head, oh, 10 years from now. But Jen, I'm gonna tell you, every time I think in my head, oh, 10 years from now, it
Mhm.
comes like within that same year.
Yeah. Well,
But
yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, powerful, very powerful. And that is, well, you're a powerful manifester then, obviously. But that is your intuitive self, just like, oh no, you're ready. You're ready now.
Isn't that
It's,
crazy? And
it's so
another
cool.
story is that my husband, now my husband now, I was married before I divorced for obvious reasons from the alcoholic behavior and
Mhm.
everything. But in my head, I would go to church and do like this prayer box requesting or be like signing a little card saying, okay, I want a family unit once again. But in my head, I said I'm in 10, 20 years from now, right? Because I was early in my sobriety.
Uh-huh.
And so I put it in the box. And then like, that same year, I met my husband at the same church. And so
Wow.
and his
Wow.
son was in my because I was serving the children's ministry, and so his son was in the children's ministry. I was in love with his son before I loved his father. Let's just say that the kid reminded me of my other son, the younger one, and I just now we're a beautiful blended family. But so amazing how we think, oh, we're not ready, but the intuition's like,
It,
no, you're
yeah,
ready.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, and for your case, the specificity of what you were kind of calling in, how clearly you were making that request allows your intuition to find you very, very clearly.
Yeah, and so now I'm probably just like, okay, whatever I want, maybe I should do like, oh, maybe in 10 years it'll
Yeah,
just come
exactly.
for me sooner.
Exactly. Exactly. Right.
Maybe I'll start doing that.
Right, because there's a part of your brain that's like, oh, in 10 years I won't feel so scared about this.
Right.
Yeah, and that's so awesome. And then yeah, you're ready now. You're ready now.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh, that very cool.
Yes. And speaking of this, like what are some of those common signs or even those synchronicities that indicate our intuition is trying to communicate with us? I know this was my story, but do you have any other stories or can share anything else?
Yeah, intuition doesn't often get loud, but it does repeat itself. So if there's and it's not like call your mother right now, like it's not
Yeah.
like a nagging, but it could be like, oh, you know what, I should call my friend, I should give her a ring. And then, you're taking a shower later. Oh, you know what? I should just probably give her a ring. She's on my mind, and then that might continue on for a couple days. And then what is interesting that happens is they'll either reach out to you or you'll call them and they say, I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you. That's just a very common one. My intuition, well, I think a lot of people's intuition, they love to get you in places where they have your full attention. And that can be driving a lot of times when, you're kind of held captive to to what's
Yeah.
happening. Um, and they'll sneak in through music a lot of times. And that music will trigger maybe a memory for me. And then it's just like, oh my gosh, I haven't thought about that in a while. Let me go down this path a little bit. And then it'll introduce what my intuition is trying to convey to me. Because a lot of times, it's through these beautiful memories. It can be smells, you can smell, my dad smoked cigars, and like I'll be walking, cigars aren't that, I don't smell that many anymore, but like, and then instantly I would smell that cigar and like then I would get a download from my dad.
Oh,
So it's really fascinating how your intuition will reach you. And the great part about that is um it's not a low vibration. It's always a pretty high vibration. It's not trying to scare you. And so if you're out in nature, if you see a bird that reminds you, of someone, it's not usually so black and white that it's, oh, that's a blue jay. Let me go home and look up what blue jay means. It's what does that instantly kind of remind you of in that moment? There's not a lot of work that has to be put behind it, or a lot of research or anything like that.
wow. Yeah, what are those top three techniques to help people unlock their intuition for better decision making? I know, like I told you my experience, what happened, but I feel like sometimes I do get stuck whenever I feel like, okay, yes, I need to do this, but I guess like what you were saying, the ego is saying no, 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 but then
Yeah.
something else is saying yes, yes, yes. Can you go ahead and explain those top three
Sure,
techniques?
sure. The first one is a pattern interrupt. So kind of get out of the space that you're in. Like, let's say that you're just sitting in front of the computer. It's like, and you don't need to bang your head against that. You can get up, you can take a walk, you can cook, you can, call a friend that's going to make you feel really good. But it's kind of getting out of that lower vibration, that stuck vibration. It means that there needs to be energy moving. It means that your intuition is probably trying to get you to a place that you can have some more clarity and some spaciousness. And then breath is huge. Make sure that you're breathing, make sure that you're not holding your breath. So once you remove yourself from where you are, and if you're at work, it could be a walk around the floor. It could be even going to the restroom. It could be getting a glass of water. It could be, walking around the block. Um, if you need it from your children, it's walking outside, or again, even around the house if you need to. But it's signaling to this higher self, to this sense that okay, I'm getting my space, my place, myself in a place to receive and to have my eyes kind of look and see where you're trying to guide me. And so what then I'll do is I'll look for three things that are just, they can be in front of you. Okay, I see a green plant. I see a clear window. I see hardwood floors. And what that does is it brings you into the present moment. So now your head isn't back where you just interrupted that pattern. You're not forward. You're just naming three things that you see in that present moment. Okay, I'm here. Then you take some deep breaths. You kind of like can go into your heart center. And at that point, you can then make decisions in a much clearer way. And you can make decisions where you can say, okay, my head says I should be going and doing XYZ. Like in your case, my head says that's too scary to do that TED talk. And then you can say, but my heart says, oh no, this is a really good opportunity and I'm going to be able to reach a lot of people with my beautiful message. And you can see like the difference in those in those communications. And so those are the three steps that I always try and take. Okay, I'm getting frustrated over technology. This is not working. I'm going to get up. I'm going to remove myself. And I know that when I sit back down, I have full trust in knowing this kind of goes back to my dad. I'm putting that out there. I know when I sit down, the solution is going to be there. And then I kind of get myself into the present state of awareness. I calm my mind down. I can, kind of see from a distance. It's almost like now instead of being an actor in the movie, you're in the movie theater, you're in a chair and you're looking at the screen and you can see that the movie's going on, but you don't have to jump into the screen and be in the scene. So those are the three.
That is so neat. Yes, and you reminded me of me when you talked about technology and getting frustrated. Like
Hmm.
literally, because I'm a solo entrepreneur, or solopreneur, you would say.
Yeah.
And I do everything on my own. And sometimes I have questions, and then that's when I have to tap into my inner knowing and it's like, help me. So,
Yeah.
yes, I have to step away from the computer. And I do the breathing exercises on my bed. I'll just do what's called the hypno breath work and then breathe in, breathe out,
Mhm.
and then I come back to the computer and everything magically, eh,
Is-
whatever I had a question on, the answer was there. I'm like, all right, I just needed to be quiet.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And how quickly you can change that energy and how quickly you can change that vibration. And no, perfect example. It is. It's like magic. It's like, oh,
It
it's right
is
there.
magic.
Hmm.
Yes. Or like, for example, if I texted somebody and in my head, I'm like, well, why aren't they texting back? This is,
Yeah.
what I was thinking. Are they mad at me? What did I say something wrong to them? I just let it be. And I would go and breathe, take a walk, do something that would like mindfulness activities and practices. All of a sudden, then the text comes, my answer from that person who I thought was mad at me.
Yep.
So like our head gets thinks too much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then it, 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 because we can't quantify that, because we can't say, oh, you know, I see that higher vibration working, we dismiss it. And it's like in like your head can just go, they're mad at me, they're mad at me. It's easier to hold on to that. It's easier to kind of give it an excuse of why it's not happening. And then when that anxiousness like dissipates and is allowed to flow, oh, that response back, oh, okay, that's it. And it's of a higher vibration, it's of a higher level. And that connection is so beautiful.
It is. Now, is this how you would say clear the static then?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Exactly.
Yes. Now, this ties into the next question about what role do meditation and those mindful practices that we're just talking about play in strengthening intuition, especially the meditation part, because some people are like, I hate meditation.
Yeah, yeah. And I see meditation, you can do meditation a lot of different ways. You can do a walking meditation, it's stillness in your mind. So if that is walking in nature, if that is being by the ocean, if that is fishing, if that is, an activity that just kind of allows you to get that space, I'm all for that. And for me, meditation, the greatest practice of meditation is when I fall out of it. And when, my mind starts racing and I can catch it, and then I can come back to that peaceful feeling. That to me is the success of meditation. And that plays, so beautifully into intuition in our minds when our left hemisphere is taking over and is putting all that noise in, then the right can come back on and say, no, this is actually not the way that I need to live my life. I don't need to live through these external factors that are making things really difficult for me. I can tune into my integrity. I can tune into my truth. I can tune into myself, and I can place that trust that this is what is going to lead me forward with. So meditation is a beautiful practice in observing how quickly our mind doesn't want us to be at peace.
Yes, I love that. Now, you've worked with individuals and teams to enhance their intuitive skills. Can you actually go ahead and share a powerful transformation story from one of your clients?
Yeah. So I worked for 27 years in the entertainment space, and there's the creative side of the entertainment house, which is, you know, um, they're very tied in, mostly. I'll say mostly very tied in with that intuition, being able to write, able to create, being able to imagine. And then you've got more of the corporate side of the entertainment space, which is looking, to finance, contracts, all of the business side of it. And I will say that recently on the more business side of the house, um, being able to lead teams through the creativity that they have, because a lot of people that are on the business side don't think that they're creative, and because they're constantly being, judged against what society calls the creatives. And your intuition is creative. It is imaginative. It is, your creative genius of you. And so when we're able to work together in that way, it's amazing to see people light up, because their creativity is just as creative as a musician, as, an actor, as a writer, as a director. And it doesn't need to be judged in the way that, the Academy Awards were just recently. It doesn't need to be, looked at or celebrated like that, because what happens is that it flows through in their process of their job, and it gets lit up in their ways. And so being able to work with teams, marketing teams, even legal teams, where when they tap into their intuitive nature, they can create products, create new processes, create departments that are going to um, allow the company to excel in a way that the company never could before. So allowing them a different perspective of what they bring to their jobs that I think are mostly described as hard skills, and allowing these soft skills to really drive what companies are looking for productivity and efficiency and effectiveness. That's been insanely rewarding. And one of the clients that I just had now, they've been looking for a promotion for quite some time, and with the help of their intuition, they were able to get a promotion, but they were able to get a promotion in a completely different department than what they were trying to get a promotion in. And so it was just waiting for them, this opportunity. But again, we kind of get stuck in the way that we think linearly. Oh, well, my next step is this. Well, actually, your intuition's trying to get you over here, which is why you're not getting promoted where you think you want to get promoted, but your calling is here. Same company, everything, but it was a really powerful moment for them.
Wow. Now, I know because everyone thinks, oh, I have to be like this person, I have to do it like this, but we're all created so uniquely that
Right.
we all bring something to the table. We all have our unique gifts. We all have that inner genius within us, and we can do it. I know my husband has been complaining about his promotion and saying, I haven't been getting promoted. I haven't been getting promoted. I said, just be patient. Like, you're being recognized all the time. You're getting awards all the time. Just patience,
Yeah.
maybe your time will come, but he's has that logical thinking.
Yeah. Tell him to write down I'm getting promoted in 10
In
years.
10 years. Yes, yes. Oh yeah, I should write that. I should get promoted in 10 years. You know what is so funny, Jen? Like, okay, so when we first met, I asked him, what do you do? And he said, oh, I'm a process engineer, mechanical engineer. I said, oh, I said, but this is me seeing this for him. I said, I see you as a manager. He's like, oh no, I'm not ready for that. I'm not thinking about that. Well, about maybe 3 years ago, now he's been focused. I want to do manager. I want to become a manager. I want my own team. I want to be a servant leader. I want to
Uh-huh.
do this. And now his mind is on it. But I saw that for himself before he actually saw it for him, which is
Yeah.
very interesting. So I was like, oh, wow. Well, I'm good that you can finally see that, I tell him.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yes. That's awesome. That's awesome. And he believes it. He
And he
believes he could
bel
do it. Yeah.
and he believes it. Yes. And he's
Yeah.
he's like, I want to get it. I said, that's right. You keep saying that. You're going to get it because you're already putting it out there.
Oh my gosh, let me know when he gets it
Oh,
because
I
yeah,
will.
because I have a feeling it's not too far off. Yeah.
Right, that's what I feel like. And
Yeah.
this is what I told him the other day too. And I said, I feel like there's a quantum leap going to be happening. And I don't think it's me this time. I said, I have a feeling you're going to go through a massive transformation or transition within your company. And then he's like, huh? And then the next day he's like, oh, guess what? The top leaders recognized me and helping out with this project and this product. And I said, you see, you're already getting recognized so much. And then he got an award recently. And
Wow.
so I'm like,
Hmm.
he called me Prophet Gina. I'm like, no, I'm not a prophet.
No, you're tuned in. You're
I
tuned
just
into
tuned
it. Yep,
in.
absolutely.
Right.
That's
It's
so
so
great.
funny. We always joke about these things.
How fun.
Yes, yeah. So if someone listening feels either like disconnected from their intuition, what's one small action they can go ahead and take today to start rebuilding that trust?
I think the easiest way is through gratitude. And, you've probably heard it a ton of times, but it is so effective, which is why you probably heard it a ton of times. I do a practice where each morning I give gratitude when I wake up, even if I'm feeling very tired. It's just I'm grateful, I'm grateful, I'm grateful. A lot of times I'll do it in the shower. The shower to me is where my mind can almost go into like um, I can get in like three fights with people I've never met in the shower. It's I'm like, what just happened? What just happened? So it'll be, I'm grateful for this warm water. I'm grateful for this soap. I'm grateful for this shampoo, and it's like, I'm grateful for my arm that I'm lathering up. Like it's just a real, um, you're building this muscle that you're basically telling yourself the side of your brain that's trying to keep you in this small space in this fearful state. Just take a little nap. We're going to balance this out a little bit. It's not that I don't need you. It's just that this side needs to be worked a little bit more. So gratitude. You can feel your body when you start to get frustrated or irritated. Again, take that step away and just say, I'm grateful the sun's out today. I'm grateful that I have food. I'm grateful that I have shelter. I'm grateful that I can call my wife. I'm grateful I can call my husband. It's little things like that, and really kind of feel it. You can even put your hand on your heart, and just really, dive into that feeling. And then I end my day. I have a list on my phone that's about 4 years running in the Notes app, and I just write the date and I put down one thing it was almost like a miracle or a gift of that day, and it can be as easy as a neighbor, you know put a flower on my doorstep, or like, dropped off an avocado for me to eat, or I got a really great text from someone just reaching out and telling me that they were thinking of me. And so those things just allow your intuitive self to say, this is where we want to operate from. And it's those very small changes that really become very significant leaps. So, don't try. A lot of people will just poo-poo that, or they'll get bored of it. It's just like going to the gym, and working out any other muscle. It takes a little practice. And what you'll see is that you're going to see a change pretty quickly, because who you're attracting in is going to be what you're reflecting. And then the real fun really starts when you can just start bouncing off those people, and, bringing a joyful awareness to your intuitive state.
I agree 100%. Yes, everyone talks about gratitude, but because it works, because
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
gratitude attitude. Yes, I used to time myself. I used to. I mean, I need to start doing this. I still wake up being grateful. And even today, like if there is something that happened, but then I figured out why that happened because it created a solution later on. And I'm like, I am grateful for that hiccup because
Yes.
it created this solution. And I just didn't
Love
know it
that.
at that time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I used to time for 1 minute on my phone and just say whatever I'm grateful for 1 minute. Just I'm grateful for this, grateful for my cat, my kids, my
Yeah.
health, my my plants,
Yeah.
everything, my
I love
friends.
that.
And
Yeah.
it really works. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think once they start practicing that, magic happens. You raise your vibration that way. When you raise your vibration, it is a ripple effect. People do feel that, and then once they feel that, then other people will feel that what they're feeling, and it just goes on and on. And that's what I think it's all about is having that love. We're all about love.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And what I'll also like challenge people to do is, before they go to bed, whenever, it doesn't have to be a specific time, it's your specific time whenever you're feeling it, is name three things that you're grateful for, but have those three things be different each day. And
Yes.
that really kind of starts to change your brain chemistry too, because then you're focused on something very positive, and also it's a great technique if like you're in like a store line and like the line's long and you're starting to get frustrated, just mentally, just like, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for
Yeah.
that. Yeah. You can apply it in traffic, rather than going down this, really dark hole.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Well, Jen, how can people work with you?
Oh, I would love for anybody that feels called to learn a little bit more about their intuition or tap into it. I've got packages, and memberships, and you can find information on that on my website at JennCohenIntuitive.com, and it's Jen with two N's, Cohen. And I'm also on Instagram, but anyone that just even has any questions, I can talk about this forever, and I'm open. Just reach out to me, and if you have any questions, I'll happily chat with you.
Yes, listeners, please reach out to Jen. Oh, I feel her love and vibration, and I just know she's going to help you for sure. Any last words at all, or any last statements?
I just love what you're doing. I love your energy. I love how you're inspiring people, and your stories, how you relate to people. It's just so genuine, and I'm glad that you did the TED Talk. I hope that there's more coming your way, and I can't wait to hear about your hobbies promotion.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you for those kind words. Yes, I'm not sure about another TED talk, maybe another 10 years. Well, thank you so much for being on my show. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you.
You too. You too.